Welcome to the Title Talk Podcast, an interview series featuring key individuals doing innovative things with their business and life. And now, here's your host, Richard Barbara.
All right. Thank you very much. So today, we're going to talk about obligation versus opportunity, right? What do I mean by that? So, I run into people that I haven't seen in a while, right, in a couple of years, and I used to have my own firm. I was my own boss, as they say, and now, as we joke about it, I have a boss, I have a daddy, right? So people say, well, what's that like? What's that? That's a big change. 12 years on your own, and then now you're really not on your own. So what's that mean? And I said, let me sum it up this way: no more Sunday blues. No more Sunday blues. So those memes that it's like, like the dread of Sunday night and you hate Sunday night because it's the next day, I don't have that problem. It's Sunday and I'm like, my God, what am I going to get into this week? We might be building a restaurant. I might be dealing with Super Bowl. Maybe I'll go see some politicians. Or maybe I'll just write documents. Who knows? But no matter what, it's going to be fantastic, right? And so every time I get an email, the sound of email, boom, on an iPhone, it's the sound of opportunity. Sometimes it's spam. Sometimes, and I have to delete, and of course, sometimes it's emails I don't want to deal with, okay, right? Not everything is fun all the time, but by and large, the sound of email doesn't create anxiety. There was a time in my life where I would get that sound of email, and I was like, oh my God. The only thing I hated more than getting email was my email being down, right? So email being down was one form of crisis, but getting email is almost always bad news, right? And so the question for you is, when you get a call from a client, right, or you get an email or something like that, do you feel it's an obligation to pick it up and respond, or do you see it as some kind of opportunity, right? And if you're in the former, if you are suffering and struggling with emails and having to deal with clients or things like that is an obligation, right, then it's very difficult to get ahead. Very difficult to get ahead, because it means that everything to you is like a battle. Right, so if you're a sports guy, it's like getting up and in a football game, you're down 14-0 like in the first half, in the first quarter. It's like you can win, but man, you're coming from behind all day long. Okay, it's nice to be up 14-0, right? Early on in the first quarter. That's how you want to feel about things. And so with B&I, which is what we're here for, that's the other question. So how do you see coming to the meeting, or having to do a one-to-one, or trying to pass a referral? Like when Bryce sends those statistics, like if you have the nerve to drill down and see that you're not, let's say, performing as far as the metrics go, right? Is it an obligation to go to the meeting and do one-to-ones and try to figure out how to pass referrals, or do you see those things as opportunities? You see them as obligations, you're not going to be very good and you're not going to get a whole lot out of it, right? So in our chapter, so we have a few visitors today, I'm largely preaching to the choir. You want to know why? Most everyone renews, okay? Most everyone's been here more than a year. In B&I, if you're visiting, listen up. In B&I, if you make it past the first year, you typically don't leave forever, okay? That's the way it works. So once you're past year one, you're like a lifer. You're a cult member. People make fun of you, all that kind of thing, okay? But if you don't make it through year one, it's because you got there, maybe your onboarding wasn't so great, right? And then, you kind of didn't really know what to do. It's a pain in the ass. Right, get up at 7 in the morning, or 5 in the morning to get here at 7. It was a disaster. So if you don't see immediate results, okay, you have that problem. But now, I'm going to give a challenge, and I'm going to use a member as an example, okay? So, who here does not do dry cleaning with William Lozano? Raise your hands if you're a member and you're dry cleaning. No, you're a member. Sorry, not you, bro. It's not your fault. J.C. President, I don't fucking know William Lozano. No. I'm talking about guys like people with no excuse. Okay? So raise your hand if you're a member and your dry cleaning does not go to William Lozano. Okay, now here's the thing. Let me tell you, that was me as of 10 days ago. And in fact, when he first joined, I did a one-to-one with him, and I told him in his face I wasn't going to send him my dry cleaning. I said, listen, bro, I'm not going to send you my dry cleaning. I just want you to know now. And let me tell you why. Because there was the last guy that was in here with the dry cleaning. I didn't send him my dry cleaning. I had a lady that she'd bill me whenever. She'd come pick it up and drop it off, and 3 months later, she'd bill me para carajo. Okay, so it was very hard for me to leave that lady, but I left to go to Sudsies. Okay, and by the way, these people at Sudsies, they text me, they photograph. It's fantastic. They're high tech. The clothes walks back to my house. I mean, it's unbelievable, right? So I told them, so now I've been with Sudsies, I change, I pay through the nose, but don't make me change again. I'm just telling you, I'm not going to change again. But here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to try to get you business, right? And so what happens is now the guy's been here for a year and change. Bro, he's here every meeting. Oh, yeah, man, he tries to pass for, bro, he's going to open a little store. Right? He's happy about America. Isn't that rare? Guy gets up and he's like, this place is great. So I'm sitting here 2 weeks ago. I'm like, you know what? I can't, bro. I don't have enough hair on my rear end to continue to sit across from this guy and not send him my dry cleaning. I can't do it. So I broke up with Sudsies. It was hard. I've been dodging their texts. They texted me last night. Rich, you have anything for us tomorrow? I'm like, no. Right? Because I hate doing that. I'm trying to figure out, can I send them one shirt so that they don't think I hate them? Right? So I'm like that. So, no. So I'm like, no. Now I send my dry cleaning. So now I'm going to challenge you. If you're in here, boy, you can't give a guy who's been with us for a year your dry cleaning, well, like you're terrible. It's terrible. Guy picks it up and drops it off. You have no excuse. There is no excuse not to give the guy your dry cleaning. Okay? That's an opportunity for you to help this guy. And then the guy thinks, he's like, holy Toledo, B&I is the best thing for me in America. I walked in and 30 people sent me their dry cleaning. You imagine? And then he goes out and tells everybody else. Okay, and this guy becomes a way for us to get bigger and better. So it's easy. With William, it's easy. So if you are not dry cleaning with William, see me. Okay, right? Like to the principal's office because it's bad. Okay, so let's do that, right? How sweet am I? I just made your Christmas list forever, right? He's like, I'm on the list with a chisel, like hammer it in. Okay, so opportunity versus obligation. How do you see participation in B&I? If you see it as an obligation, I mean this, see me. So let me help you with that, okay? If you see it as an opportunity, keep doing what you do, all right? Happy networking.
Thanks so much for tuning into this episode of the Title Talk podcast. If you haven't done so already, please make sure you're subscribed to the show. This way you'll get future notifications of episodes as they become available. And if you feel so inclined, please leave us a review. We sure do appreciate it. Signing off from the Title Talk studio here in Coral Gables, Florida. We'll talk to you next time.